We are now live on Facebook, and I hope, as I say to you every week, because it happened again last week, when I record a Facebook Live, I'm doing it so it will be in my feed, my public feed, as a video. And every time for the last 3 months that I have tried to listen to my Facebook Live video, I didn't hear it. And so I'll say it again, that if you don't hear, I don't know if you hear the video or not, because nobody has ever told me. So I don't know if they hear it on their computers, but I absolutely don't hear it on mine. I will post the YouTube that I am now doing. And I don't know if I said good morning. My now very listed in Who's Who name is David F. in quotation marks, SmallBizDavid AI bot, end quotation, Leopold. And I had one of the most wonderful moments in my business life, my entire life, this last week, and it ended with an email that I would like to read to you that I got on Tuesday. And it came from Randy Stern. Randy Randy and I had a wonderful interaction. Originally I got an email from the organization Marquis, Who's Who, and it said that I've been invited to interview with them to see if I will be qualified to be in the Who's Who book. And wow, and as I said to Randy, in all my 55 years of doing what I do, nobody has ever interviewed me, so to speak. I've had conversations with at least 750 folks in cyberspace in the last 17 years, at least that many folks. So Randy, I guess, led a research team at Marquis Who's Who, and found me, and then she invited me to have a conversation with her, an interview. She actually did call it an interview, and it was funny because it took us 4 or 5 days to actually connect with things were happening, and it was crazy, but we finally connected. And on December 3rd, Randy sent to me, it was a pleasure speaking with you today. As we discussed, we would be sending you a commemorative Who's Who in America wall plaque. And I said, wow, that's kind of nice. And it reminded me of other wall plaques in my life that I haven't said too much about, but they were important wall plaques also. So we're going to get into that. Well, you'll see in a moment that the Marquis Who's Who with Professional Publication Board certifies. Oh, this is what the plaque is going to say. They certify that long name I gave you has hereby been approved as a subject of biographical record in the Who's Who in America, inclusion in which is limited to individuals who possess professional integrity. I've been trying to do it in the 55 years of being in business, being a third generation small business owner myself. And I think I know I can speak for my father and my grandfather that integrity is an important part of what we were doing. Demonstrate outstanding achievement in their respective fields. Oh, wow. Nobody's really recognized me, so I'm going to have to build my own story. Uh, you'll see the humor in that in a moment. Um, uh, and have made innumerable contributions to society as a whole. I want to take a break at this moment, and share with you a pledge that I actually took in 2010 in the lobby of the Kauffman Foundation in Kansas City. And they, well, at that time, certainly were the absolute go-to source about entrepreneurship, really anywhere in the world, but specific attention on the United States. And I was invited by them. I don't remember how that connection was made, to become a partner of the Kauffman Foundation. And actually, it was a project called Global Entrepreneurship Week, which of course I said yes. And so it was that year that I became a corporate partner of the Kauffman Foundation. And that they no longer communicate with me today as they did back then. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But regardless, in 15 years ago, in their lobby, the day that I became a partner, I had to take an entrepreneur pledge. And I was actually found out that I was one of the first 3,000 folks anywhere that took this pledge. And the pledge has absolutely been, I've often said that it is a complete understanding of my business why in the pledge. And so every year since then, I try to do the pledge, um, and sometimes twice a year, just to remind myself of what is it are you doing, and what kind of value do you bring to other folks in their life. And so it's a great pledge. So I pledge that the entrepreneur's pledge. I am an entrepreneur uh, pursuing an opportunity, uh, creating, sharing my own destiny. I'm bringing something of value to society, making a job for myself and for others, and creating wealth that benefits my family, my community, my country, and my world. I've had some world interactions in the last 10 years for sure. One of a movement of millions of entrepreneurs and innovators who made America great and who will keep our economy going and growing. Uh, that's an absolute fact, but uh, we're going through different times right now that I've ever lived through in my 76 years, and it's very, very challenging, very challenging. But what I have found, I've been publishing for 55 years, more than 55 years, all kinds of things. And um, I started to digitally publish and produce live streams in 2007. 2007, I had just written my book, another bullet point in my biography. I just written my book and didn't have answers, and people they loved the book but hated the fact that I didn't give them my answers. And so I literally went on to YouTube the next year, 2008, and produced my first live stream. Um, and it's been it's been a wonderful experience. And to that end, just last week, a week ago, last Monday, I shared a conversation with Barbara Weltman. Barbara Weltman, as the Washington Post describes her, is the guru of small business taxes. And uh, I think everybody is in absolute agreement of that. Uh, Back behind me, and you'll see it in the YouTube that I did with Barbara. Um, it was a book that she's been publishing for 30 years. And 17 of those last years, we've had a conversation about the book. And then there was one time we actually did a Friday morning small business information show on a website. The website demographic was absolutely not a demographic that Barbara and I would pick out to target, but it was not unusual for a group of 5,000 of those folks show up on a Friday uh, to do a view, whatever, however long they stayed. And um, the fact was that the website, which is a huge website, a lot of traffic, um, stickham.com. I was the only one doing a show on small business, and they loved it. And so whenever I went on their website to do the show, they put me on the front page of their website, so that as people came to the website, if they wanted to see small business or come, and well, it worked. Lots of folks came, and those are fun times. But Barbara and I just had our conversation a week, our latest conversation a week ago Monday, and it was my honor and pleasure to have the SmallBizDavid AI bot produce what would happen in Google if somebody did a Google search and they did it in AI mode, and they entered with their search. If they entered an idea, uh, it's worked for me. What does SmallBizDavid AI bot say about whatever it is that I'm looking for information? And so I did one for Barbara, and we had a wonderful conversation. And uh, the bot certainly knows, and it's taken her to the next level about the value that Barbara has brought to the marketplace her entire life, and such that folks trust her. They buy her book every year, and more folks, and they tell their friends, and that's how it works. And nobody does it better than Barbara. And I've been it was indeed honored to have her as a friend for 17 years. We've been doing this. Um, so that's the I am part of. I got sidetracked a little bit. That was the why I am an entrepreneur, and why what I am, because many people have helped me. Many people have helped me along this journey. We call them clients, we call them friends, we call them followers. It doesn't matter what you call them; they've been part of bringing me here today. It's pretty simple. So I took a pledge that I will tell my short story, sharing my successes and failures, so that others uh, uh, can learn by the stories that I tell, how pertinent it is to you and what's happening in your life. So if the same kind of thing happened to you and you can relate to it, then you're ready to take your marketing and sales strategy to its next level. Uh, that's what that's what the Small Biz David AI bot is all about. Uh, and I also pledge that I will mentor an inspiring entrepreneur. Yeah, I met that one a long time ago. Uh, I've mentored, not necessarily mentored, but inspired, motivated lots and lots of folks uh, to see what kind of value they could establish to bring to the marketplace and get folks to trust them in their story. And the trust thing is becoming extremely important, more so than ever, because AI, uh, Small Biz David AI bot included, are telling some, they're saying, trust me, trust. Well, we have shown why the source can be trusted based upon the over 3,000 hours of YouTubes there were over the years on entrepreneurship, business, big and small, marketing and sales value trust. Way over 3,000 hours. Some of them are still up. I don't know what uh, YouTube, Google did. They're in cyberspace someplace, but I only read back about 10 years, and lots of stories, lots of folks, uh, lots of exchange of information, and stories of why they got to where they are today. That's kind of a absolute theme that has run through. So um, I think I pledged a couple other things. I will make my voice heard by those who make policy decisions that affect me and my business. I don't so much make my voice heard. I support other folks who will do a much better job with it. The NFIB, uh, uh, AARP, lots of folks have dollars devoted to doing precisely that. So they'll do a much better job. But I'll tell you about them. I'll give you as much information about them as I know. I will appreciate and celebrate my accomplishments and the accomplishments of all my fellow entrepreneurs. Um, appreciate, keyword. Put stars by it. Pound appreciate. Very. Uh, that's what makes communities grow. That's what why folks continue to do the things that they devote their life energies to doing, and um, uh, it's amazing how many different projects and interactions with folks that I've done in the last 55 years. It's absolutely amazing. That's another one of my major accomplishments that I haven't spoken too much about up until now. Is in between the years of 1994 and 1999, I was the go-to person at the Direct Marketing Association, uh, uh, in the insurance industry, in marketing and sales, value, trust, whatever the issues. I was the go-to person, and in those years, I was very blessed to have interactions with, at one time, 19 of the 52 or 53 largest insurance companies I had access and interactions with, and Um, uh, there's a half a dozen of those who, and interesting, they were competitors, and they knew that I was handling all their programs, and they were okay with that because they trusted me. And so uh, for those folks, millions and millions and millions of dollars were created for what they were selling, uh, for the company that I was collaboratively partnering with back then. In the years I was there talking to those folks, it had to be over $40 million that they got. I didn't get that much, but they did. I got a nice piece, not enough for sure. So at any rate, uh, yes, I will get. Well, this is the last two lines. I will give back to the society that helped me to be successful, and absolutely, that's what I do. Basically, what I do is I create a marketing and sales objective for myself, make it work, do my research, do my testing, make it work to my satisfaction. And then when it does, I just want to share that with you. And if it worked for me, why would not it work for you? And if it doesn't work for you, we'll figure it out. And if we can't figure it out, you better do something else. I will give back to the society that helped me to be so successful. And at this time, there was a theme. It holds true today, maybe more so now than back then. I will build a stronger America. And Lord only knows, with all the commotion going on and people establishing priorities, it's there's a huge reorganization, transformation going on. And as always, I hope the good guys win. Okay, so the last paragraph, and here's where we're really going to have a lot of fun. You will also receive access to Marquis biographies online. As you know, for over 126 years, I've got 55, they've got over 126. Marquis Who's Who has focused exclusively on print publications. That's how I always knew them. In fact, I told Randy in our conversation, my first contact with Who's Who had to have been a conversation that I had probably 50 years ago. And she wasn't with them then, but she knew exactly what I was saying. So uh, all this is happening to me, and it's just very surreal. In response to the overwhelming demand of our listees, we have finally created a new online platform called Marquis Biographies Online, MBO. Your biography will be included in this database, and you will receive unique login credentials to browse the biographies of the most distinguished professionals from around the world with whom you can connect and collaborate. And I said, Randy, I absolutely know that I personally have a project idea to take to, couldn't be a finer group, could not be a better group than folks who are listed in Who's Who. So that's going to happen very quickly. Uh, I've included a breakdown of what we discussed below. Biography updated. I can go at any time. I'll create this biography and I can update the biography. I will have the power to go in and edit my own biography. So that's one thing I'm going to be doing for until I can't anymore, is I will be building that biography. And the fun part about it is it will be named SmallBizDavid AI Bot. So how much more fun could one individual have? Your biography uploaded to Marquis MBOs are expansive database that features more than 1.6 million of the most distinguished professionals from around the globe. Wow. How much fun is that going to be? Access to MBO with a personalized user. Yeah, I've got to create all that. There's a picture of, oh, I am going to be included in the 2026 print edition, of which the deadline is actually just now coming up. I got in under the deadline. Randy told me they're in 2 weeks. They'll shut off and do whatever they do to start producing the printed edition. And so it was also kind of funny because after our conversation, well, first I told Randy, I said, Randy, you are the first person that has ever interviewed me, so watch out. Watch out. We're going to go for a ride. And whereas folks like myself who are doing whatever they're doing, the contact is supposed to go to a universal 800 number and connect with whomever. And they said, you make sure that you give them, here's my personal number, here's how to get to me. I said, you go, girl. So we will have fun. That's one thing I will be publishing till I can't anymore, is into the who's who in American, and I am deeply honored, deeply honored that they invited me in, and I interviewed good. I interviewed well. It's not the first interview I've ever had. Uh, the one that comes to the the most. I had read about a company that I wanted to, in my hometown, that I wanted to personally collaborate with. I was reading about and studying about them. I said, let's figure out how we can collaborate. And so I spent 6 months trying to create an appointment with uh, the two individuals who they left Procter and Gamble together, and together they uh, partnered with Cincinnati Bell Telephone to create a company. One was the CEO, David. Um, uh, David might. It doesn't matter. It was David and Jim, and I went down for 6 months. I tried with Connie, the gatekeeper, to get to them, and they were just so busy building the company that they couldn't. And she called me up. She said, "David, I can work you into their schedule." Uh, on such and such a day for an hour. I said, I'll be there. Don't, I'll be there. So I went, and we had a wonderful 1 hour conversation. And these two guys, they're heavyweights. They are heavyweights. And uh, uh, they said to me at the end of they said at the end, uh, we absolutely want to stay in touch with you. What we are looking for at this moment, you don't quite have the qualifications fine, but um, we will stay in touch when the situation avails itself. So said, fine, great. It wasn't too many weeks after that conversation that at 6 o'clock on a Saturday night, I answered the telephone, and Jim, number two guy in the room, said, David, uh, can you come in Monday morning? There's somebody that you want to meet. We want you to meet. I said, sure, I'll be there. So I was there and met uh, Dave, who was the CEO of the company that was forming. And we talked for less than an hour. He said, I'm going out to Utah tomorrow. Would you like to go with me? What's on the agenda? What are you going to do to me? Well, I went out to uh, Salt Lake, and that day I met with 6 or 7 different folks, and I was just getting passed around. And um, I left with a job offer a collaborative partner offer, and it was good. It's very good, and I accepted and built it, and the company. Those were 9 years of my life from 1991 to 1999. That it put me. Well, it definitely created my next step from what happened before that, because it put me in the national marketplace, and it was a fun place to be, and met a lot of great folks and did a lot of great things, a lot of great projects, and a lot of folks made a lot of money back then, and it was it was fun times. It's better to make money than to lose money. So. Um, I was deeply touched that I was asked to join, and I'm going to have so much fun uh, getting involved. I've got one more click to go, and I'll be on the page where I start to enter information. And she was Randy. It's funny. She said, and any member of your family will be given the same access to the information that you are given. I said, I don't know that my kids will use it. Well, yeah, my kids, not my sons. They're too busy doing what they do. Um, my grandchildren, yes, that the pieces are all coming together on that one. So uh, it's a deep honor, and I want to thank Randy for sure, and whatever other team members there were to find me, however they found me. Uh, I've got so much. Well, I venture to say there's not an individual operating by themselves in a one-person operation that has as many hours out there as I do, and so uh, if I stay inside of Google, it's not too hard to, well, and that's precisely why I decided that how was I going to take in writing my legacy story, how was I going to take where I was and leverage the power of AI, the apparent power of AI, and leverage it to take me to my next level. And indeed, that's precisely where the SmallBizDavid AI bot is. We tested it with Barbara Weltman, and it works. So we are ready to tell those stories inside of Google, so that if anybody does a Google search, as every person on the planet on this planet has done a Google search at one time or another, if you do it in AI mode, uh, it, it's important the words you put in the search bar, and I do that every single day. It's one way that I can provide a perspective, if it's important, to the 749 questions that I asked and didn't answer in my book. Created 1,000 business keywords. Uh, Most of those keywords are appropriate. Today, uh, as I was looking at the book, there are two chapters in the book. Well, one I wouldn't touch. Eliminate healthcare. It has become so complex today to where it was when I was doing it. I don't have time to keep up with all that. So uh, uh, I did a lot of things back in the when you could do things in the healthcare days. As a matter of fact, for 3 years, I had uh, I got a state of Ohio insurance license to um, literally I could sell, market, and sell uh, life and health insurance policies. I got it not to sell those, but to get enough information to uh, create credibility for myself and what it is that I was doing when I was doing it. Wasn't selling, but I kept that license alive for 3 years, and that happened in just about the same time. I wonder if there was any relationship. Uh, I was invited, but this I needed sponsorship, and I had worked on the sponsorship. But I was invited by the Ohio governor, Robert Taft, at the time, to be on his Small Business Advisory Council. There were 26 other folks like myself, but for sure, I was the only one that said to the folks who vetted me to become a member that if politics, if that's part of the appointment, don't appoint me. There are much better people than myself, and so I I went on I went on with a clean with a clean slate, and actually, the governor appreciated that because there was we had many one-on-one conversations about small business in Ohio, and of course, my expertise were marketing and sales and healthcare back then, and um, uh, it was 3 good years. But he was interestingly enough, he was the least popular governor ever in the state of Ohio. Neither sides of the aisle liked liked him, but I found him to be very engaging. And when he came to one of our quarterly meetings, we only met him 4 times a year. When he came to one of those meetings, he took his coat off and rolled up his sleeves, and we had lunch, and he listened. Robert Taft, governor, was a listener, and uh, I don't know. I guess not enough people were. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but it was a great experience, and also an honor in my life that I haven't shared that experience. But man, I have to have a good biography now in Who's Who in America, and I thank you. And if you want to feedback, if you have any kind of comment that you would like to share. Um, And why did that go off? Are we still on? Where's the screen? There it is. Oh, I have had such a struggle with Facebook video technology as a publisher. It has been a very, very challenging situation to me to try to get the things done that I need to get done. But what it has done for me, and that's important, is connect me with lots of folks. And there's even folks that we have Facebook communication that knew me 60 years ago. And there's even folks that we communicate on Facebook that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of us lived on the same block, grew up on the same street. And I hear back and forth from them, and no, 7, 8. I just thought of another one, just because his home, the Bloomers, the Pruitts, and oh my lord, the stories. But uh, it's been challenging on Facebook, and you got to do what you got to do. And like I said, I do not even know if. Well, I know for sure I'm not going to be able to hear myself, but I'm thinking that people are, because as I look at the numbers of the views, the insights, uh, there's the volume is there. So I'm not sure, but I am sure about the YouTube that I create and the URL and I'll publish it wherever. If you'd like the URL in something that you publish, let me know. We have a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Uh, Not to be repetitious, if I'm repetitious, but I am having more fun now. Not that I didn't have a lot. I had fun in the last 55 years, but more now and the things that are going on to define the next step. What's our next step? What's the next step? What's the next thing that we have to do? And to protect my legacy story. We just had to create the SmallBizDavid AI bot. And I'm trying to, I read something else this week. I don't know. I have, they were talking about an AI clone. And I'm not sure if I could clone the bot, or maybe the bot is probably my clone. There's no question about it. Wow. That's how that works. Well, we got that question answered. So, uh, thank you for whatever and taking the time to listen to what it is that we talk about. If you want to send an email, it's dleopold@davidsbarter.com. dleopold@davidsbarter.com. And I promise you will get a response to what it is you're looking for. Unfortunately, because it's a one person operation and I have to get the one person in order before I can get an AI. I have to go. It's a slower process to get things done, but that's okay. That's okay. My three words that have carried me from the beginning to where I am are passion, persistence, and patience. And you you saw them not one of the pieces of paycheck because the paycheck was not important. The amount of money was not important. What was important was to create something that a marketing and sales value trust tool that could be used with so folks could get a next step if they want a next step to whatever it is that is happening in their business entity, life entity, organizational entity, whatever entity you want. Uh, Defining the next step is where we need to go, and uh, to protect the integrity. I heard that word before, of my legacy story. Um, that's why I am indeed honored to be able to publish it in Marquis Who's Who, and change it and update it, and uh, I guess I guess there's no place else to go. I guess we've got YouTubes and cyberspace, and we got a, a digital place to put the stuff, and here we go. Thank you, and get in touch. Uh, what the big picture is that I want to do, obviously, is I want to establish communication with 10,000 folks so that ultimately I might publish and produce their value trust, marketing, sales, value, trust stories. Very similar to the one that I did with Barbara. There's another one coming, um, hopefully very soon, waiting to hear back. And there's one that I created without talking to the individual because it got the times mixed up, but it was on Small Business Saturday. If you go to the YouTube channel, you will YouTube .com forward slash at David F. Leopold. That's the YouTube. All of these stories, all these adventures. Uh, that's where we go. That's where this is going. As soon as I shut up and push the right buttons. But thank you. Thank you for your time today. And we will see you the next time. And as a friend of mine back in 1972, starting in 73, 74, 75, 76, Jaime Williams used to say, and he was an individual in my community who had a following on television, radio, and major print. Nobody reached more folks than Jaime did, and we collaborated. He gave his sports perspective to the publication that I was publishing, and I paid Jaime for it. But Jaime used to say he would end one of his TV productions by saying, "We'll see you the next time," which may very well be the best time. We will see you soon. Enjoy the rest of your day. End the stream. End